Hello, everybody. It's Real Honesty with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland. While Cassie waves there, playing her DS in Animal Crossing.
Watch me run away!
That's not a very pretty sight. Neither of us can run at all. So anyway, this is going to be top 10 TNA tag champions. I looked over the list. I remembered some of these offhand, and I had to look at a list on Wiki and other sites to make sure that I remembered some of the past and some of the current ones. Admittedly, lately I've not watched a ton of current TNA. The Decay would get an honorable mention here since they've done pretty well with the tag titles. But for the best, and this is going to be kind of quick, me talk about some of my favorite teams and matches maybe you should check out if I can remember any.
Because everybody likes it quicker.
This is, no you don't. Anyway, number 10, that would be the Wolves. Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, admittedly, that actually is what they do. Admittedly, the Wolves should have probably been WWE, but rumors are that maybe Davey Richards rubbed people the wrong way. Could have happened, right. Could have happened, may have not, but they're tearing it up in TNA. Tore it up in other promotions before coming to TNA. They've done a very good job in their few times as tag team champions, and they work really well together. Also, it's possible that Richards may have to retire due to a couple leg injuries, but maybe sooner rather than later. But Edwards and Richards have been great tag team champions and are a hell of a tag team, and that's why they get on the list here. Number 9, Daniels and Kaz. Admittedly, they've done a lot better in Ring of Honor as tag team champions as The Addiction. Daniels and Kaz are two of the best talkers and two of the best workers that have ever been in TNA. In Ring of Honor, their work is second to none. Daniels in particular, he's near his mid-40s and can still move just great and can talk great. But Daniels and Kaz in TNA, yeah, they only had a couple times where they were tag team champions, but they were great. They were entertaining. They always made me lock into any segments they were involved in or any matches, where they were throwaway matches or pay-per-view matches. It was great stuff. And that's why they're on the list. And number 8, oh, hello, Daniels. It's good to see you again. It's Daniels and AJ Styles. And admittedly, they were a short-lived team, even though they were rivals. Rivals made for a great team. And they were teamed up in 2006 mainly. I mean, they teamed up a couple other times, I believe, later in later in TNA. But 2006 was like their apex, where they had a couple reigns as tag team champions while feuding with LAX. Absolute great steel cage match that they had at Bound for Glory 2006. And Styles and Daniels, while they didn't hold the tag titles long, they made the titles mean more, and it was great to get LAX over, and it produced some great matches and some great moments. Their tag team didn't last long, but they get on the list by being a great team and two great stars. Number 7. Well, I just mentioned LAX, and here they are. LAX, Homicide, Hernandez, Conan originally was their manager. What?
LAX Part 2.
No, not LAX Part 2. What are you talking about?
Just like they did for the Brooklyn pay-per-view Part 2.
Okay, no. It's not pay-per-view, it's a team. It's the Latin American Exchange, Hernandez, Homicide. Conan was a great manager for them when his health, had deteriorated. I mean, he's still alive. I'm just saying he had hip replacement surgery, and he had to be in a wheelchair part of the time, and he couldn't really wrestle anymore. But LAX was a great team. They originally started as heels and then transitioned to be baby faces, which worked. It worked a lot better because people really didn't want to boo them because they were both great workers. Homicide was a great high flyer and legit tough. Same with Hernandez, though Hernandez was a lot bigger. You didn't think that a guy that big should be able to fly, but he did. And LAX is great tag team champions, so that's why they're here at number 7. And number 6, Team 3D. Okay, did they achieve a lot of success in ECW and WWE? Yes. But does that mean the man of the house is home? Anyway, so Team 3D, does that mean that they shouldn't have gotten a chance? And now he's gone. Team 3D shouldn't have gotten a chance to be on this list? Absolutely not. There are numerous reigns with the tag team titles. Prove that they were appreciated by TNA brass and TNA fans. And they put a lot of good teams over. And they had a lot of good feuds, like against America's Most Wanted and Beer Money and Motor City Machine Guns. Later, when they were just about done, like before Bully Ray was born. Team 3D had a great debut, and even if they were never tag team champions, they would have gotten on the greatest list of tag teams because they did a lot for TNA. They brought a lot of credibility because they still had quite a bit left, and admittedly may have stuck around a little too long, but for a period of years, about 4 or 5, They were great and great tag team champions. So number 6 is where Team 3D lands. I would say check out their feud with Beer Money and their feud with America's Most Wanted. And their feud with LAX certainly wasn't bad, but do not watch the Lockdown 2007 electrified steel cage match. It was horrible. It's as bad as I described, and even worse to watch. So there we go. Number 5, Motor City Machine Guns. Motor City Machine Guns, that is. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, 2 great talents. Shelley in particular, I think, is vastly underrated with how great he is. Sabin in particular for coming back from 2 ACL tears in the same knee, at least I believe the same knee. He might have actually, it might have been both knees. I forget exactly what, but I know that he was kept out for a couple years, or the better part of a couple years because of those tears. But Shelley and Sabin, such a great team. I mean, my God, they were so on fire for a couple years in TNA, and they were like one of the most over acts that ever was in TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it. Shelley and Sabin could work like crazy, work against bigger guys, work against guys their size. It didn't matter. They always had great matches. Their feud with Beer Money was pretty fun. Feud with Team 3D, and they had a couple. It was like they had a couple other matches. You know, a couple other feuds that are kind of blanking in my head right now. But they were such a great team. So they're here number 5, and number 4, the Naturals. The Naturals. Andy Douglas, Chase Stevens do not get talked about enough by a lot of fans of TNA. I mean, at least a lot of the fans I talk to. Now, some of them are maybe newer TNA fans and aren't as familiar with the Naturals who were around in, like, I think 03, at least 04, 04, 05, and 06. They might have been around in 03 also. But Chase Stevens and Andy Douglas were a tremendous team. They were one of the reasons that I started really paying attention to the tag team division in TNA, besides America's Most Wanted and a couple others. But Chase Stevens, Andy Douglas, they were so great. They were so great, even before being paired with, Shane Douglas as their manager later in their years. That didn't really work. They were great workers, fantastic workers. Had great matches with America's Most Wanted and a few other teams. They were so good to watch, and they had a great theme. I mean, I'm not gonna try to do it. I'm not gonna try to sing it. I can't sing at all. But the Naturals were tremendous. I would say their feud with America's Most Wanted would be one to check out, but they were so over in 04 and 05. I mean, even and they were teamed with Chris Candido for a while, the late great Chris Candido, in 2005, just before his death, and actually wanted to win the tag titles to honor him. And they did a great job and had some great matches with America's Most Wanted later in that year. So the Naturals, tremendous team, and really should be talked about a lot more in the history of TNA, as great as they were. Number 3, Triple X. Sure, Triple X is more of a stable, whatever. But you got Low Key, Christopher Daniels, hello again, Christopher Daniels, and Elix Skipper. I'm going to focus more on Elix Skipper and Christopher Daniels, as Low Key was a great talent and it was a great trio, but Skipper and Daniels to me were the best team. And they had a great feud with America's Most Wanted that seems to be making an appearance a lot here for somebody that's not in the list yet. But Triple X is so, oh my God, they were so good. The last match in particular they had, it was Turning Point 2004, where Elix Skipper tightrope walks the cage. Absolutely insane. I could not believe that I saw that. I just remember ordering it. Well, my friend ordered the pay-per-view, and I watched it, and I'm like, my God, this is scary. And it was such a great way to end the feud. And because the one team that lost had to leave for, or disband forever and could never team again. And Triple X lost. Of course, they would team up as a trio for a brief time in 2007, but, whatever. Daniels and Skipper were great tag team champions. They were great wrestlers. And they still are. I mean, I don't know if Skipper really wrestles much anymore, but Daniels still obviously wrestles in Ring of Honor, as I said before. But Triple X is such a great team. Such a great team. I mean, they had a stupid little goofy catchy theme, but they were such a great team. Really, really good. And them and America's Most Wanted had the first steel cage match, I believe, in TNA history, or at least first tag team steel cage match. I'm not so sure on the first steel cage match in TNA, but they had the very first tag team steel cage match, and it meant a lot that they trusted those guys to go out and tear it up, and they were a great team. And number 2, Beer Money, because Storm and Rude had to make an appearance here. It was a real close shave, in close proximity with number 1 and number 2. Could have gone either way. I went with Beer Money in number 2 because Rude and Storm played off each other so well. Probably the best theme I've heard of any TNA tag team. One of the best themes I've heard in TNA, maybe wrestling, period. It just was so catchy. and it summed up how Rude and Storm just played off each other so well. I knew the team would be good. I didn't think they'd be as great as they were. They obviously were. And their feud with Team 3D, they had a great performance at, I believe it was a 4-way Tag Team Monsters Ball match in 2008. They feuded with LAX. They then Storm and Rude later, like 2011, would start feuding with each other after Storm had won the TNA TNA title, and Rude wasn't able to just a few days before. It was still Beer Money, tremendous team. They even reformed, I believe, earlier this year in 2016, and that didn't last very long because then Rude left, and now he's in NXT, and hopefully Storm. Rumors are that Storm's leaving TNA, and he'll show up in NXT. That way, maybe TNA can stockpile with younger talent, and we could see maybe Beer Money possibly reunite under a different name on the on an NXT stage. But Beer Money gets the number 2 slot. One of my favorite tag teams ever. And number 1, and I mentioned them a lot, America's Most Wanted. Because America's Most Wanted had to be number 1. The best tag team in TNA history, bar none. To me, bar none. James Storm and Chris Harris, from the moment they were paired together in 2002 till they disbanded in, I believe, late or early 2007. I think it was late 2006, early 2007. Great stuff. They always had great matches, whether they were faces, whether they were heels, aligned with Jeff Jarrett, whether it was Storm and Harris against Jeff Jarrett when they were in single competition. Their feuds with Triple X, their feuds just with various people was so great, and I really enjoyed watching America's Most Wanted matches. They were actually one of the only. I don't have any wrestling DVDs or Blu-rays anymore, as a lot of stuff's on the network, and I can find other stuff on YouTube. But if I had to own TNA DVD, it would be the original America's Most Wanted set, because it was just so damn good. They had so many good matches against New Church, Triple X, and others, like I said. So anyway, that is my list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at the link in the description. It's Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.